Are we good to go, Nick?
Yep, I believe so.
All right, welcome everyone to the May monthly general meeting for MAPE Local 401. My name is Jeff Gintz. I am your local president. And this is our leadership team. The vice president is up for election. We'll go over that in a little more detail later. Membership secretary is Wendy Einberger McDonough. Secretary is Michael Yost. Treasurer Ronald Dixon. Communications Robert Ottendito. Regional Steward Director Amy Mueller. Regional Board of Director Ted Snaza. Meet and Confer Chair Christine Moody. Regional Negotiator is also up for election, and our business agent is Nick Fry. You can see our webpage is mape.org. Type in Local 401 in the search, and you'll go to our webpage. All right, so we'll start it off with a welcome to any new members. Would anyone like to introduce themselves or say hi if it's your first meeting or you're new?
I'm
we have a
Emily
slide for that.
Johnson.
Oh, hey.
Hi, I'm Emily Johnson. I'm a new career counselor who was hired in March with the Career Development Services Group. So thanks for having me.
Hi, Emily. Thank you and welcome. Thank you so much for attending today. Great. Anyone else? All right. Well, we'll have local updates and union elections, and then Amy Mueller has the Regional Steward Director update and the Steward's Corner. So that's our agenda for today. Just a heads up, we have a little lighter agenda than we typically have. I know it feels like some of these meetings could go for 3 hours. This one may not go the entire hour. We're not sure. And I have to leave at 12:25 p.m. I'm at the Stassen building today for an on-site sales and use tax conference. So I have to get back there by 12:30, so I have to leave at 12:25, and at that point, Nick will overtake the meeting. So thank you, Nick. Joke of the day. So why can't fish sleep in? Well, fish can't sleep in because they have to get to school.
Nice.
They have to get to school. That was the best I had this month. Not my best work, but it was pretty good, I think. All right, we're going to try something new.
Do we have a guest comedian?
Do we have any guest comedians that want to be bold and share a joke? I thought I heard one when we were getting ready here.
Richard, this is your time if you want to say it.
Oh, is it in the chat?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
I'll read it, Richard, if you don't want to. All right. Why did the union member bring a pencil to the meeting? Because he wanted to draw up a good contract. That's a good one. I like it. Well done. Thank you, Richard. All right, new members, we already did that. Last chance, I guess, if anyone wants to introduce themselves. Just a word on that too. I want to thank everyone again for being here. I know that it's taking your lunch break, and I think that's a big deal to give up your lunch break for the union. That to me says that you are invested and willing to give your time back to the union. So thank you all for being here. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to our leadership team, and it means a lot to the entire local that we're able to meet and gather. And our attendance is almost as much as it was in person. So that says a lot. So thank you so much. Okay, we're having a membership blitz, and this is where we're going to reach out to members of Local 401 that are not currently dues paying members, and we're going to send them messages by Teams, maybe a phone call, and just reach out and just start conversations. And if anyone is interested in participating in that, it's next Thursday, May 23rd, 1 week from today. We do have lost time approved. So if you're interested, you can message or email me and we can talk about the details. And then we mentioned it last month and we'll say it again. We are going to have fun this summer at the St. Paul Saints game. So another save the date for Friday, August 23rd. We're going to get the details on the ticket distribution soon here. We're within 3 months, so we didn't want to go too soon on the tickets, but we'll be getting messages out soon, I think, to everyone about how the tickets will work this year. So keep your eyes open for that for the Saints game on Friday, August 23rd.
She thinks I am afraid of choosing a diamond. Why should I be?
Hey, just a reminder, if folks could mute, I can't figure out who that is to mute them.
It's okay, I muted him.
Oh, sweet. Good work. Thanks, Ted.
Delegate Assembly resolutions. Delegate Assembly is in October. However, before Delegate Assembly, we have the chance to submit resolutions. And this is a really good chance for Local 401 to have their voice heard. And I know I've seen a few resolutions from our local over the years. However, there's other locals that submit many more resolutions than Local 401. So I thought this is a good opportunity for me to really encourage you to look into the process. There is a procedure you have to follow to get your resolution submitted, and it goes through some type of review panel. And then after it goes through all that, there's the chance it'll make it to the floor at Delegate Assembly for discussion and vote. So there is some work to be done ahead of it, but that's okay. If it takes hard work, it's probably worthwhile. So I want you to think, is there something about MAPE that you want to change? If you answer yes, then think about submitting a resolution. So you go to our website, mape.org, follow that link, and it has a template and the instructions on what you should do to submit a resolution for Delegate Assembly. So July 17th, 2024, that's the deadline to submit resolutions. So we have a little bit of time. As we know, 2 months goes quickly. So start thinking about it now, start working on it now. Reach out to me or anyone on the leadership team, and we'll help you with the process. So again, I just really want to raise the visibility of the Delegate Assembly and the possibility for you to submit a resolution. Okay, Labor Notes Conference. A few weeks ago, Nick, Joel Sullivan, and I attended the Labor Notes Conference in Chicago. It was a large gathering of union activists and reformers from around the country and around the world. I think I met folks from Japan and maybe the Philippines, and it was really to energize unions. It was a good experience. And what I took from it is, first of all, I felt really grateful for what our union has accomplished and where we're at currently. A lot of the other union members from across the country and the world that we talk to don't have a lot of the same rights or contract that we have. And I just felt really thankful for what MAPE has accomplished. And I also realized that there's a lot more that we can accomplish. And we have another contract negotiation coming up next year. So I just thought that it was a good way to put everything in perspective. It also helped me to really think of things in more detail. To me, each union member is of vast importance, and I learned some ideas to hopefully get everyone energized and motivated to help out with Local 401 and with MAPE. We need your help, and we need you to be actively involved. So I'll be working on some of those, and it was just a great overall experience. Joe Sullivan, are you here? Joe had another meeting that he couldn't get out of. I think if he was here, he was going to share some of his thoughts. Nick, did you have anything from Labor
Yeah,
Notes
I can
Conference you
share.
wanted to share?
Yeah, I wanted to share one breakout session that I went to was with the was about the United Auto Workers organizing in the South. And they had several, it was like a round table, and they had several rank and file employees who were trying to form a union. And they had somebody from the Volkswagen plant in Tennessee, a Rivian plant in Southern Illinois, and then a Hyundai plant, I think in Mississippi or Alabama. But they were talking about all of the just the tough work that went into organizing in the South and organizing a new facility and that sort of thing, and how tough that was. And over many years, they lost union elections, and they kept trying and kept trying. They kept losing. You know, the South is very divisive when it comes to unions and sort of like political divisiveness that goes through it and things like that. And then they won that evening. So then the Volkswagen plant, for the very first time, United Auto Workers um, won a union election at a Volkswagen plant in Tennessee. And that happened that night after this panel discussion. And that was really, really cool to be a part of and to see after they've been talking about all their struggles that they actually won. And that reminded me of a lot of the work that we do, especially a lot of the meaningful change that we fight for here at MAPE runs up against government bureaucracy, right? The very nature of us being state employees. A lot of times we run up against bureaucracy, and it's not a very fast or powerful process. But if we're persistent and keep fighting, we can make meaningful change. So I was thinking back about the paid parental leave campaign that we did about 5 years ago. We lost that campaign about 5 times before we won it. We were told no by the state 5 times at least before we ended up winning it. Student loan organizing, that took 7.5 years before Revenue finally adopted it. We proposed it 7.5 years ago is when we first proposed the student loan reimbursement program. And we were told no many times. I remember being very frustrated at that big event that we had at Stagstead, and Commissioner Bowerly was there, but she would not commit to it. And I was really frustrated. And my boss said, Nick, we lost paid parental leave 5 times before we won it. Keep fighting. And now we have it. The office closing, that's been a long battle. If Christine's on here, she'll know, like, the office closing in Greater Minnesota of the revenue offices. That was about 3 years before we had any sort of meaningful resolution for those folks. So the point is, good progress takes time, but we should be persistent, keep fighting, and progress, hopefully it always moves in one direction and always bends towards the right way, hopefully. I'll just say that.
Yes, thank you, Nick. I agree. It's a good feeling to be in Minnesota as a union member, hearing some of the stories from others. Again, made me very appreciative. And I would tell them of some of the victories we've had, what Nick mentioned with the student loan and paid parental leave. And I mean, I found people asking us, how'd you accomplish that? What did you do? So there were some really good conversations. So I was thinking this is a great opportunity. You do have to give up your weekend. So that's quite a sacrifice. I think it's maybe next year or the year after, there'll be another Labor Notes conference. So if something that you're interested in, it isn't right away, it'll be a year or two in the future. But, send me an email if you may be interested in the next time, and I'll keep a list of people that are interested. And when the application process starts the next time around, I'll let you know. I mentioned the local election at the start, and we do have some exciting news. We have a runoff for local 401 vice president between Jason Midori and Sam Sant, and then Region 4 negotiator between Alex Bajwa and Kara Hoffreiter. So it's kind of a big deal, everyone. We are a very active and engaged local. A lot of other locals have open positions with no candidates at all, and we have multiple candidates for more than one position. So that's great that we have so much interest and union members willing to give to local 401 and to our union. So thank you for those in the runoffs there. The voting will be June 3rd through 13th. You'll be emailed a link, and May 20th is the deadline to become a member and be eligible to vote in the election. So if you are not currently a dues paying member, you have until May 20th to become a member, and then you can vote in this election. And there's the link down there, mape.org/join-mape. The membership application just takes a few minutes, and go there, by May 20th, you can vote in the election. Okay, over to Amy Mueller. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Jeff. Yes, I am Amy Mueller. I am your Regional Steward Director, and I'm here with my update. So it kind of covers a couple things. First, I always talk about what we do as stewards. It's important to know that every region must have a large team to suffice the needs of what our membership looks for. And for us, we are very experienced and able to help you with your concerns. As Nick touched on, yes, this is the long game. This is how we get what we need. So to do that, though, we have to be continuously looking to improve ourselves at the same time. So to do that, we need to hear from you, but we as stewards are your information sources for questions. We enforce the MAPE contract. That's because we are your advocate, your representation, and your support in investigations, grievance, and all things that you need. Also, I want to just put a plug out there. If you've been thinking about what you can do to be involved in your union more or engaged in your work environment in general, I would highly recommend that you consider becoming a steward. So for us as stewards, we take the time we have to reflect on your concerns, come up with ways to solve your problems, and we can organize around that, like we said, with the contract, through negotiations, meet and confer. And so those are the best ways that we feel like with our teams that we have here within Region 4. That's why we're so rock solid. And I like to call us rare gems because we are very capable because of our involvement and willingness to take risks and to try again and be resilient. So if you have concerns about your work environment, or if you have changes to your position description and you're not satisfied, or any other concern that you may have, let us know. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to any steward that's with your concerns, or if you're interested in becoming a steward, let us know. All right, next slide. So for the Stewards Corner this time around, we're going to talk about personnel files. It's something that not a lot of employees know about, so that they can see their personnel file. So you can request to see your personnel file once a year. And you also can have a steward come with you too. If you feel like that's something you're interested in, please reach out. If you don't even know if the union can help you with your question, I'll just be transparent. Reach out and ask, because even if we may not have an answer for you today, listening to your concerns today will help us with tomorrow. And that's the best way that we can make sure that we can be there for you. So I digress once again, but to talk about personnel files, you'll need to reach out to your HR contact. You do that through going through our intranet, or our space. Go to HR, and then there's a key contacts on the left-hand panel. You can pick up from there. If you need help, reach out to me and I'll get you what you need to help figure that out. You'll send an email request to them. And if you'd like to have a steward join you with that meeting, just make sure they're included. I can help you find one too if I'm unable to help you at the time that you want to look at your file too. For us as a steward to be there, you will have to sign a release form, but that's okay. And we can talk about that when we get to that point. So I normally don't open this up because we don't have a whole lot of time, but if anybody has a question for me, we have a lot of stewards and Nick in this meeting that we can help you with your questions. There you go. Ted put the link in there for who do I contact? If you don't have a question today, that's okay. Come find me. Reach out to anybody that's on the team as a steward. Was it last month? I think Kara Hoffreiter talked about how to find a steward, if I'm not mistaken. So, all right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. Good job. So, as I mentioned, we have a short agenda for today. So, I think this is the last slide, isn't it, Nick?
Yep.
So, if anybody has any questions or comments or anything they want to talk about, it's an open floor. Okay, Michael Yost, you have your hand raised.
I missed the first couple of minutes of the meeting. Did anyone mention the student loan reimbursement application window opening?
Nope.
Okay, so
No,
I'll
we
say,
haven't.
as mentioned earlier, the Department of Revenue has a program that will reimburse you for any payments you have made on your student loans. The application window to get qualified for that program opens once a quarter. This quarter's application window opened yesterday. I will post the link in the chat. Basically, if you've worked at Revenue for a year, you're eligible to get any payments you made on your student loans reimbursed by the Department of Revenue. There are a few conditions. They talk about them more in the forms, in the application form that I just posted. So yeah, if you have any questions, I can try to answer those. I see someone is asking about the taxability of student loan reimbursement. Ronald can probably say more than I do. I know the form that was posted this year or this month says that 2024 payments are non-taxable up to, I think, $5,000. But Ronald can add anything that I don't know because I see he has his hand up or did, or so I'll turn it over to him.
Yeah, so yep, and everything that you just said about 2024 is 100% correct. As per Internal Revenue Code 127, I believe, up to $5,000 of that is non-taxable for 2024. Now 2023, that one is still ongoing. I did learn, I originally wanted to request to get an outside legal opinion, to consult with an attorney, like a tax attorney, to kind of make sure before we start telling folks about the option to potentially amend your return without, even if you don't get a W-2C, because MMB is refusing to provide W-2Cs at this point, to correct the payments received in 2023 being designated as taxable. And I wanted to reach out to an outside tax attorney, just to kind of make sure that my interpretation of the tax code is the federal tax law is correct. I feel fairly confident in it. However, before going against the employer on this, want to make sure that's correct. Unfortunately, there is actually, I learned when reaching out to MAPE Central, that there's actually a stipulation in the rules saying that locals cannot use local funds to to pay for an attorney. So that's actually something I'm going to be exploring as a thing to actually at the delegate assembly to submit a resolution to update those rules, because I think in local specific issues, I think we should be able to have the authority to be able to spend money on things like that, especially on local specific issues, such as the 80 employees that are revenue employees impacted by this. But in any case, it's kind of a weird, so I did generate an amended return for myself. I haven't submitted it. That it would be in my own situation where it was $500 refund, if my $4,200 reimbursement was non-taxable, and $250-ish for state. My spouse didn't work that much in 2023, so our income was fairly lower-ish in 2023. So if you're in a situation where you had the full $5,000 reimbursed in 2023, and you had a spouse and you both worked, or you were filing single or something, that taxable amount may have been more because you'd be in a higher tax bracket. So yes, so I don't really have anything substantive at this point. Keep in mind that if we do the amend, if MMB doesn't provide W-2Cs, and if I do eventually get to talk to an outside tax attorney who recommends amending, and then I share that with you all, keep in mind the deadline to amend is 3.5 years from Minnesota and 3 years federally from the original deadline. So there's still plenty of time. Not to say that I want to drag my feet on this. I also want to potentially see if MAPE Central could help with this too, because they seem to hint that they potentially would. However, there was nothing concrete. So I don't really have any substantive updates on this, unfortunately. But if anyone has any questions, want to talk about it, you can definitely send me an IM. My email, I'll put it in the chat here. Yeah, so that's all I have.
Jeff may have taken off. Jeff, did you take off?
Jeff took off, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jeff-
he said in the chat he
Jeff
did.
leave.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else from folks? Any questions, comments, suggestions, inquiries? Anybody want to make predictions on the Timberwolves game tonight?
Hey, Nick, quick thing for
Yes.
everyone. Remember what they brought up, that if you're doing both the student reimbursement and
Yes,
the tuition, it counts the same. So make sure
Yes.
you don't go over that 5,250.
Yep.
Or you'll get taxed on it no matter what for it. That's another thing that people got to remember also. If you're doing both of them, your limit's 5,250 not to get taxed. So watch out for that.
yeah, thanks, Brian. Yep, they told us so because revenue also has a tuition benefit that they combine those for tax purposes, I guess.
And that does align with that advice does align with Inter-Revenue Code, I believe 127. So
Lisa?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, we just had our sales and use tax conference. I'm actually not on site there, but Gina, the director, mentioned addressing complexity. Our complexity is going. I just wonder how
Yep.
involved is MAPE, and will there be any actual auditors involved in this? Because she mentioned it sounded like supervisors, but just people who are actually out doing the work and seeing how
Yes.
complex the issues are. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for bringing up that issue. There are several sales tax folks on our meet and confer, and we brought that up with upper management, and we've asked specifically to be involved into the review of the complexity scoring specifically, the whole process, the whole overview process. But we brought up the complexity scoring specifically. So if they're not here, I don't think they're here, but so Kara Hoffreiter and Chris Dieterman are the two that are on that team that are leading that for us. So they'd actually be able to speak more to it than I would be. But to the quick answer is yes. The Meet Confer team is working with upper management to try to get some voice on that process.
Thank you. I appreciate your hard work in helping us get that going. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. And like I said, and please reach out to Chris or Kara. They both would know a lot about it. Anything else from folks? Tyson.
Hey, I got a note from MAPE talking about the legislative session wrapping up, and two things they talked about was paid family and medical leave and equal rights amendment, and then MAPE pushing for something. I was just wondering, I guess, if there is an update now or if we'd wait till after session.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. I can try to get an update and share it.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
was
can
just
get an update
published
from our-
yesterday, so I'm
Okay.
not sure what exactly is going on, but a note
Yeah.
came out and I read it and I just didn't understand what was going on. So
Yeah, and I can always pass any specific questions you have on to our lobbyists or try to get an update, and we can add that into the sort of the recap email that we send out. But I don't know off the top of my head. Any other questions or comments about MAPE stuff? Or doesn't have to be MAPE stuff. All right, everybody. Well, there's no reason to keep the meeting going. See everybody. Thanks for attending. Go Timberwolves. And yeah, let us know. Let any of the sort of your contacts or whatever that Jeff talked about at the beginning. If you have any questions about anything, let us know.